dramatic moment because Chris Wood is about to make his decision in regard to Carstair Way. Chris, can you tell us what you're going to do? He's out.
Well, as far as the stewards are.
Okay, so Chris Wood suggesting that Carstair Way will not be a runner in the Melbourne Cup, and he's going to make that official now. Chris, how tough a decision was it?
It's a very hard decision in a $4 million race, but we've got to be realistic.
So he's just making these. He's making the announcement now. Chris Wood saying, "Can you pull the horse out of the Melbourne Cup?" And we have so many dramatic moments in this race, and there's no question this is a dramatic moment as well. It will be official any moment. Carstair Way about to be taken out of the Melbourne Cup. We're going to talk to Chris once more. Chris, we really appreciate this. Okay. So the decision has not been made yet. But as far as you're concerned, you want Carstair Way taken out?
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. That's Chris Wood. So the decision has to be made official. He has spoken to the stewards, and he will speak to Des Gleeson as well to make it official. But as we understand it, Carstair Way will not run in the Melbourne Cup.
Right, that was recorded obviously just a few moments ago with Mark Aston, and there was a fair bit of drama there, wasn't there?
There was, and I nearly ran into Mark there, but Carstair Way, it is a shame for Connections, gosh, come so far, and then the wet track, out of business.
Selections for the 2-issue Melbourne Cup, Jen.
All right, Peter, I'm going to go with George Hanlon to win the Melbourne Cup here, with number 22, Rain Gauge.
And we'll get yours in a moment, but first of all, mine, 22, 14, 23, Rain Gauge, Hill of Grace, Rum, and Yippee-I-O is my best outsider, Jen.
Okay, there's mine, very similar to yours.
Yeah.
Rain Gauge from number 14, Hill of Grace, after a terrific run, the McKinnon Stakes. Number 1, Persian Punch for third, and the outsider, number 24, Celestial Show.
Okay, there are the selections. Simon Marshall has gone for Rain Gauge as well, number 22. If ever there was an omen tip, surely that's got to be it. And Johnny Letts has gone for number 2, Sky Heights, to beat 19, May the Horse Be With You, and 24, Celestial Show. Time now for the presentation after the running of the Great Western. Let's go down to Mr. Max Davidson from South Corp Wines.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd first of all like to thank the Victoria Racing Club for the honour of once again being associated with such a fantastic day in Australian racing. The Seppelt Great Western brand has been associated with the Great Western event for over 20 years, and that's always been the significant race run before Australia's greatest racing event. Seppelt is celebrating 150 years of winemaking this year, and we trust that in the future it will remain the sparkling wine of choice of racegoers in Australia. I'd like to congratulate Damien Oliver on a courageous win, Lee Friedman, the trainer, and I'd like now to hand over the trophy to Robert Sangster on behalf of the Swettenham Studs Syndicate. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you indeed. The Melbourne Cup is, about 45 minutes away. It is our next race. But these two were here. We thought we'd grab a quick chat with them, two of the absolute stars of the Australian swimming team, Brooke Hanson and Matt Welsh. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Oh, it all goes like rapid fire around here. How good a form are you two in? I mean, you really are currently the informed swimmers, aren't you? You especially.
Yeah, that's right. I'm off to the USA in about 3 weeks. Yeah. And Matt and myself are both getting ready for the Melbourne World Cup, which is the 7th of December.
Most successful athlete at the Goodwill Games. Golds all over the place in the World Cup. So you must be, you've built up, haven't you? I remember you as a 16-year-old at the Commonwealth Games, and you've really built up to being one of our great breaststrokers.
Yeah, that's right. 23 now, and I've just finally reached my peak.
You're only 23.
Yeah, but just really looking forward to the racing over the next year.
Yeah, and Manny, you took up backstroking really quite late. I mean, what were you, 14 or 15 when you really took it up seriously?
I was 18 when I started swimming and didn't take a backstroke till I was 20. So, yeah, fairly late, and I'm 24 now, so it's been a pretty short but fun journey.
Yeah, when you say a short and fun journey, it must have been hard work too.
Yes, it was, but I prefer not to think about that. I just prefer to think about the fun times. So, no, it's going well. Just come off a bit of a break, and as Brooke said, getting ready for World Cup. So, getting back into it pretty fast, and hopefully very serious.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got some money to win too in December, haven't you?
Yes, hopefully a little bit today as well, but we'll see how things go.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of them, I think about $150,000 you've got up for grabs. And I mean, just quickly, is it very hard to keep in form for a long time?
Well, coming off a break, I think it's going to be especially hard.
Okay.
I've sort of only been in the water for a couple of weeks, so it's going to be a struggle, but, you know, I've done tougher things. So.
Go and win some money out there. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in to join us. I know it was short and sweet, but that's all we can do. Brooke Hanson and Matt Welsh.
Thanks very
As
much.
we take a break, thank you. Counting down to the Melbourne Cup of 2001. It's not far away.
To get inside.
From our earliest years, the Melbourne Cup has become the heart and soul of our nation.
All set for the Cup. Gates crash back, and they're off and racing to an almighty roar.
For many, it is 3 minutes of emotion that unites Australia like no other.
Central sprints, running on now was Brew. Further out, Carstair way in, Yippee-I-O. Second coming, 300 to go, led by a length.
For a chosen few, it is the journey of a lifetime. Welcome to the world's greatest 2 miles. Today, the race that stops a nation will be felt around the world as the pursuit of the Golden Chalice reaches new heights.
Mate, this is unbelievable. I just won the Melbourne Cup.
The colour, the excitement, the passion.
And my beautiful wife and children home watching. I love you all, and we done it. Woo! Good on you, Grizzly.
From the legends of the turf to the stars of the future. From the names on our lips to those who shall never be forgotten. Flemington on the first Tuesday in November is pure magic.
Doremus is coming at him. Doremus after Maiden Power. Maiden Power and Doremus, they in it. Oh, it's close. Doremus runs. And he's hung on. Maiden Power's won it, number 3.
What a great finish. That is one of the great finishes in Melbourne Cup history.
Today, a new prayer will be answered, and dreams will come true once again. Welcome to the 2001 Melbourne Cup Carnival.
And welcome to Flemington, Australia's international racecourse, just 15 minutes from the heart of Melbourne, the host city of the 1956 Olympic Games. The crowds are pressing closer to that mounting yard, closer to the rails, getting ready for this race. Welcome everyone, right around the world, wherever you're watching us from. This is it, the great test of thoroughbred racehorses. 2 miles, 3,200 metres. There's the countdown, 36 minutes and 25 seconds for this truly great race. You know, in the last little while, we've witnessed great tragedy and fear and confusion, but as in the past, the people of this wonderful city of Melbourne and Australia, we can put that aside, and this has always continued. And we can put it aside. I mean, let's really face it, today is a day to just have some fun with your mates, get out there. It's a wonderful distraction, isn't it? The Melbourne Cup and around the world. We hope you enjoy this. We know you will. The rain has gone away for the time being. We hope for the rest of the day. There is a good crowd in attendance. If you're in Melbourne and you're out close to Flemington, get down here, come and watch the Melbourne Cup. The rain has stopped. Come and have a beer with us and enjoy this absolutely wonderful carnival that is the Melbourne Cup. Now, I've been coming here for about a dozen years, and I can't recall a more open race than this. Everyone has an opinion. Let's have a look at the contenders for the 2001 Tui's New Melbourne Cup.
The moment is almost upon us. that glorious moment when, as a nation, we unite for our great race. And in 2001, the Tui's new Melbourne Cup carries a staggering $4 million bounty. Will the famous trophy leave our shores again with the English invader Persian Punch, third here 3 years ago? Or perhaps the Godolphin stable will finally add our cup to their other worldwide triumphs, give the slip and Marienbad to sport the famous royal blue. And for the first time, Germany will be watching as Caetano strives to give trainer Andreas Schütz one of his biggest victories. But the locals will be hell-bent on proving that they have what it takes. And heading the charge, Sky Heights. Smashed from pillar to post 2 years ago, he has a second shot at glory, and his Derby-winning rider is without peer in this country, Damien Oliver. All of a sudden, Big Pat is near the top of the betting charts. His trainer has one of racing's most famous names, Tulloch, and taking the ride, father of 6, Peter Mertens. Could a fairy tale come true for Sheila Laxon? Back from the dead after a race fall a decade ago, she saddles up Caulfield Cup winner Ethereal. Scott Seamer determined to complete the biggest double in racing. And what about 84-year-old George Hanlon, already a 3-time Cup-winning trainer? He might make it 4 with Grosby Gold Cup winner Rain Gauge. Karen McAvoy in line for back-to-back wins, and he's only just turned 21. John Hawkes has 2 hopes, the best of which looks to be the long-striding Freemason. His pilot, the Gouch, who's been runner-up twice before. Shane Dye knows what it takes to win the great race, and he's jetted in from Hong Kong just to ride Sard runner-up Spirit of Westbury, while the winner of that race, May the Horse Be With You, has more than one parallel with a horse called Brew, and we all know what he did 12 months ago. Michael Moroney could be the first since Bart to train 2 in a row. Last year's favourite Carpstad Way and Nashua are certain to have their admirers, as will Kiwi mare Hill of Grace, Corey Brown having recovered from Saturday's Mounting Yard tumble. And Dean Lawson has a huge chance with a huge horse, Rum. Chrissy Muntz in search of Cup win number 2. Every year we revel in the mystery and marvel at the history. And the 141st running of the Cup today is certain to add yet another glorious chapter to Australian sport's most cherished story.
Well, it won't be long before we find out, and obviously Carpstad Way, as you know, is now out of the Melbourne Cup, or maybe you just joined us. Well, he did it in 1993 vintage crop. I wonder if one of the overseas horses can take away our Melbourne Cup again. Peter Donegan, chairman of the team of experts. What do you reckon?
Tim, the Tui's new Melbourne Cup getting ever closer, and it's always a delight to welcome back to Flemington one of the world's premier jockeys, the smiling face of Frankie Dettori. Good to have you back here.
Nice to have me here again.
Yeah, well, different weather than the last few years.
It's a little bit like England, not Melbourne. I mean, it was blessed the last few years. It's been a great weather, but I know what these conditions are like anyway.
Is it going to suit your horse?
Yes, Marienbad, it really likes soft ground, and I mean, it's not really soft out there, but compare what it was yesterday, it's a lot more easy in the ground, and it'll do a lot better now.
Now, before you came out today, I know you were watching us on Network 10, and you saw this young lady leading in a winner. Now, why didn't you get here to ride in the hurdle?
I tried once, and I tell you what, never again.
I don't blame you, Frankie.
I stay flat.
Now, Frankie, this is the first time we're going to see Marienbad here, so can you tell us a little bit about him?
It's a nice horse, very big. He stays really well, and you know, when the ground gets like this, you need to stay, so that's a plus. He's not the class of Central Park, but you know, this year's race is very open, and 55 seems a very reasonable weight, and I think he should run well.
So if he was up against Central Park, just to give us an idea?
Well, over 2 miles, I'll pick this fella.
Okay.
What about the pace of the race? A couple of times we've seen really good European stayers come out here, unable to keep up down the straight the first time. Is that a concern for you?
Well, give the slip. He's got a lot of pace, so it shouldn't be a problem for him. It might be a problem for my fella and Persian Punch. They are a little bit slow. They used to go in 2 miles, so they probably get out of the bar a little bit slower than the others. But with a little bit of luck, if we can get a little bit of room, we'll be up there close with the pace. Finally,
you've been here a few times before. You've won just about every other big race in the world. How much does the desire burn to win the Melbourne Cup?
Oh, very big. But one day I'll get there. I'm sure. I'm telling you now, one day I'll get there.
Thanks for joining us. Safe passage and the best of luck.
Thank you.
Frankie Dettori joining us. Back to you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. Marion Bard will find out very shortly. Persian Punch, of course, the top weight. Remember, he's 9 years old, but there's plenty of money around for Persian Punch. Umbrellas were up at that stage, but no, it might be a little showery again, a little drizzly, but it's certainly not too bad. The Melbourne Cup's not far away. Maybe this bloke could win it. Sky Heights. We'll take a break. Cup of 2001, about 25 minutes away. This is a time-honoured tradition. There's young Darren Beedman. The jockeys being introduced to the crowd. They usually get a huge cheer. Of course, if you're on the horse, you get a bigger cheer. And I tell you what, despite the weather, there's not a bad crowd here today at all. I'm not even going to estimate, because there's about 15,000 out on Saturday, so I won't even try and estimate it for you. But as the people of Melbourne usually do, they come down to the Cup, and of course people here from all over Australia and indeed all around the world. Let's check the totes at the moment. Danny Malecki, if you would. I think Danny's up there, so I might do them for you. There you go. Sky Heights at $6. Caetano there, $55.40. They don't like Caetano much. Give the Slip. Marion Bard there at $22. Yippee-I-O, $15. Freemason there as well. Curator Storm, Mr. Prudent, Pastor Express, of course, out of the race. Ethereal, $9.80. Hill of Grace, $20.30. In a Flurry, $36.40. Big Pat, $10. Plenty of money for Big Pat. Reenact, $89.70. Karatzi, $35. Bit of a word around about Karatzi, I can tell you. May the horse be with you. Plenty of support for it. $11.60.
Okay, you're on, guys.
As the people of Melbourne gather for this wonderful race, this great race of 3,200 metres, 2 miles. Umbrellas are up again, but the smiles are still on the faces. Tim Gossage, what are they putting their money on down where you are?
Tim, Sky Heights is the favourite for the Melbourne Cup. It has been since betting opened basically this morning. Bit of a drifter is Ethereal. Rain Gauge way down the bottom is also considered a chance. Persian Punch is the best of the overseas horses, and I can tell you that the best back runner in the last 15 minutes has been number 23, Rum. It has shortened about 4 points, so you're getting unders on the tote at the moment. I can tell you it has been the best backed runner at big each way odds, but at the moment the best money is for Sky Heights in the Melbourne Cup.
Tim, before you go, this is one of the most open you've ever seen?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some open races, but I mean, Sky Heights has always been at the top of the market. Carstair Way was a 50-to-1 chance when it got dropped out, Tim, but very open race.
It sure is. Everyone has a thought. This Melbourne Cup, let's go down quickly to Mark Aston in this drama-charged week.
Andreas Schütz is the trainer of Caetano, the German horse. Andre, first of all, welcome to Australia. Sorry about the weather.
Yes, thank you very much. We thought we would have fast ground and good weather here in Australia, but it turned out to be not like this.
No, we're a bit disappointed, but nonetheless, we get on with it. Now, what about the track? Will it suit Caetano?
I think it will, yes. He liked a bit of cut in the ground, and the big track will suit him because it's as big as anything else in Germany is. And so you like it.
How's he sort of settled in and his last week or so? Has he been okay?
Yeah, he settled in very well. He's come good out of the race of the Cox Plate, and he's been working well, so I'm very happy with him.
Where would you like him to settle?
Well, somewhere between 4th and 8th.
And perhaps first over the line.
That's right, yes.
Andre, welcome to Australia. Good luck in what is a wonderful race, and it's been a wonderful carnival so far.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thank you, Mark Aston. Does great work down there, and he's been able to capture plenty of the drama that's been around this week. And hasn't there been some drama? It's been one of those weeks, but it is Melbourne Cup week. We expect that. A little bit of drizzle falling, but as I said, if you live near this racecourse, come on down. You can't miss this. It's just one of the great sporting events of the world, not just of Australia. Peter Donegan, I don't know about you, but while I do know about you, you'll be exactly the same as me. I just get the whole adrenaline firing through the system. It's great, isn't it?
It is, Tim. Every year, it's always so exciting, and every year this is a moment that we love to look forward to, Jen? Touch It for Luck.
Oh, Touch It, and it's a bit heavier this year too.
Yeah, the most famous trophy in all of Australian sport. It is worth $60,000 this year. It is the Tui's new Melbourne Cup, and tonight there's going to be a lot of champagne in this, and it's going to sit proudly on the mantelpiece of the Winning Connections later on this evening. Wouldn't you love to have one of these? Well, the connections of the winner will take away that famous trophy this afternoon. The runners are about to come down towards the mounting yard. Jen, just a little background on what has happened in the lead up to the Tui's new Melbourne Cup so far, and the drama started on Saturday when Universal Prince finished a long way back in one of the lead-ups to the McKinnon Stakes, and there was some suggestion he might have been a sore horse.
Well, he was found to be sore, and he's off hind, Peter, and of course they've had 3 veterinary inspections of this horse. 3 vets have a look at the horse, and they've decided that he was not fit to run. The trainer, Bede Murray, did want to run him, so there's been a lot of sadness for Bede because he's obviously had this horse prepared for this race. A lot of people have backed him in pre-post markets, and unfortunately he did have to come out.
That drama continued right through until around 7 o'clock this morning, and Bede Murray was close to tears when the decision was made. Then, of course, the rain continued to fall here at Flemington, and all of a sudden Chris Wood, the trainer of last year's favourite Carstair Way, had a dilemma on his hands because his horse is just no good in this sort of going.
No, he ran on Saturday too, Peter, Carstair Way, and he was found to be a little bit footsore on the very hard track, and of course rain today, he just doesn't like it and he doesn't go an inch in it, so there's no point in sending a horse around that really doesn't have a chance in it.
I wonder what would be going through the mind of that gentleman, Colin Alderson, in the glasses. 2 years ago he stood in this very mounting yard and he had the favourite in the Melbourne Cup, Sky Heights. He's going around again today, but 2 years ago he was smashed from pillar to post in one of the roughest Melbourne Cups we've ever seen.
Yes, and he was injured too in that race, Peter, but he looks to be back in his very best form, having been narrowly beaten there in the Caulfield Cup by Ethereal, and he's going to be a very good chance. I'm sure Colin will love the fact that we've had a fair bit of rain today as well.
We're going to talk a little bit about Ethereal when we see her. She is the horse that won the first of our big handicap races for those people in various parts of the world. She won the Caulfield Cup. She's trained by a lady called Sheila Laxon. Her husband, Laurie Laxon, won the Melbourne Cup with Empire Rose back in 1988, and 3 years later Sheila nearly died when she was involved in a terrible race fall in New Zealand.
Yes, it's an amazing story, and she's a lovely person, Sheila. We wish her all the best. Look, she's got a fantastic classy mare there going out in the Melbourne Cup today and has a really good live hope in it.
What about some of the other stories, Jen, going into the Melbourne Cup? The overseas horses. Every year they've come out since Vintage Crop blazed the trail back in 1993. They've tried and they've failed. The closest they've got was Central Park in 1999. Is it going to be the year for the overseas horses?
Well, quite possibly, Peter. I mean, you know that most of these overseas horses generally do handle a bit of give in the ground because that's where they're trained. Marion Bard, you heard Frankie Dettori saying before that he does think this horse is a bit better over 2 miles than Central Park, and that sort of opinion you would have to respect. Give the Slip has been used as a pacemaker for Fantastic Light, who is one of the best horses in the world, and he gets his chance to steal that glory, I would say, today.
12 months ago, Kerrin McAvoy was he just turned 20 years of age. He won the Melbourne Cup. Today, having just turned 21 only a couple of weeks ago, he might win it back to back. What a remarkable achievement that would be. He rides Rain Gauge.
Yes, he's got a terrific chance on Rain Gauge. Rain Gauge is a horse that is not bred to run the 2 miles, but he won the Moonee Valley Cup in such great fashion that you would have to give him a really strong show here today. He does look like a stayer when you see him, conformation-wise, and he's got a live chance with a master trainer, George Hanlon.
And what about old Yippee-I-O, an 8-year-old? There have been only 2 8-year-olds have ever won the Melbourne Cup, and the last one was way back. In fact, it was back in 1938 that Catalogue won it, and the previous one, Jen, I don't quite remember it, Tory Boy in 1865. So he's got facts and figures against him, but the punters just love him.
Well, Peter, he comes right into it now that we've had some rain, because he's had 11 starts on the rain-affected tracks, and he's won 5 of those. So you know he's going to stay. You know he likes the wet ground, and he's got to be a live chance.
Shortly, the horses will make their way from the top right of your screen, the Birdcage, down to the mounting yard. And will that man train his 4th Melbourne Cup winner? George Hanlon, the master trainer of stayers at 84 years of age, is on the verge of one of his biggest moments in racing. We head to a break. When we come back, we'll look at all of the 22 runners in the 2001 Tui's New Melbourne Cup. You're watching it from Flemington, the course of history, live around Australia and in many parts of the world through Network 10. The big moment is now just 12 minutes away. The Tui's New Melbourne Cup for 2001. Runners are in the mounting yard. Let's have a look at these 22 runners, beginning with the English Raider, number 1, Persian Punch, to be ridden by Richard Quinn, having his second ride in the race. David Ellsworth is the trainer. No 9-year-old has ever won the Melbourne Cup.
Well, as you'd expect, this horse is very, very relaxed in the mounting yard. He's a top-class professional stayer, and he likes to go forward in his races. Can take a little while to get there, but once he gets there, Peter, he can be so hard to run down, and his form has been excellent coming into the Melbourne Cup this year. I think he's got a great chance.
Number 2 is Sky Heights. Colin Alderson, the trainer. Damien Oliver, the rider. He's having his 12th ride in the Cup. He won it in 1995, and Sky Heights is looking to emulate Delta, which started favourite in 1949 and ran 5th, and won 2 years later in 1951.
Sky Heights showed that he was almost back to his best when he nearly got the Caulfield Cup, just narrowly going down to Ethereal there. Damien Oliver to ride. He's riding in great fashion, and he'll give this horse every possible chance. He's a great chance.
Number 3, Universal Prince is out. There is Frankie Dettori about to board his mount. Another one of the overseas competitors, number 4, Caetano. Johnny Murtagh is a class jockey. He's having his first ride in the Melbourne Cup. Trainer is Andreas Schütz, the number 4 Saddlecloth, the most successful in Cup history. It's won 11 times.
This horse has amassed a lot of prize money in overseas placings, Peter, but I've seen him many times on the tape. He's very one-paced. He has no 2-mile form to talk of, and I think he's just going to find this a little bit tough when it comes to the end of the race.
Richard Hills takes his first ride in the Melbourne Cup aboard number 5, Give the Slip, for the Godolphin stable. Saeed bin Saror is the trainer. The last winner to carry number 5 was 5 years ago, the mighty Saintly.
He's been quoted as being one of the best pacemakers in years, and of course that's been for his stablemate Fantastic Light, who is a champion racehorse overseas. This horse is likely to go forward, and he does get his chance here to prove himself. I think he's there with a place chance.
We've spoken to Frankie Dettori. He's about to take his seat in the saddle aboard number 6, Marienbad, again trained by Saeed bin Saror. Frankie's having his 7th ride in the race. He finished runner-up on Central Park in 1999. Doremus was the last one to carry number 6 to victory.
His most recent outing was in the Irish St Ledger, Peter, and he finished 3rd. Persian Punch finished 4th, so that form must be respected. He's only missed the place twice in his career. He's only had the 10 starts, and I think he's got a pretty good chance with one of the world's leading jockeys there.
Carstair Way is out, a late scratching. Number 8 is Yippee-I-O, Darren Beedman, twice a winner of the race in 1990 and 1996. Has his 10th ride for Alan Denham, and the last horse to win after running 2nd the previous year, Empire Rose, in 87 and 88.
The real sentimental favourite, this fellow, Yippee-I-O, a grand old campaigner. He relishes the distance races, and he loves a bit of giving the ground. He's got that here today. He wasn't far away in the Moonee Valley Cup, and he's never far away, so a place chance for Yippee.
2 of the past 6 Melbourne Cup winners have come from the outside gate. That's the task that faces Freemason number 9. John Hawkes is the trainer. Darren Gauci takes his 14th ride in the Melbourne Cup.
I thought his run on Saturday in the McKinnon, he just held his ground the whole way there. And from the barrier 24, I think he'll probably try and slot in around about midfield. And if he does get a nice run in the race, he's probably not without a chance.
Number 10 is Curata Storm. Greg Childs is the rider. He is having his 10th ride in the Melbourne Cup. The last horse to carry number 10 to victory way back in 1937, the Trump.
Well, he was in the Saab quality on Saturday, and he was on the rail most of the way. He did make ground, but being on the rail most of the way, it probably flattered his run a little bit there. I think he's capable of surprising at big odds, and he is big odds today, but I just don't think it'll be today.
It's been a while since the Sydney Cup winner won the Melbourne Cup in the same year. 111 years, in fact, when Carbine did it in 1890. Can Mr. Pruden do it? George Hanlon trains. Craig Williams has his 2nd Cup ride.
Well, in great hands with George Hanlon there. His form this time in has been well below par. He can be slow out, and he does get back in his races, and I think there's probably slightly easier races for him around just at the moment.
12 Pastor Express, Danny Nikolic, his 3rd ride in the Cup for trainer Paul Cave. Number 12 Saddlecloth, the 2nd most successful